Hello and welcome to Some Dude Shed. It's news day.
Ding. Perhaps we should address it. We're not really in the shed today.
Sadly not.
Just
Circumstances have kind of
circumstances.
got the better of us, and we're
There's
We're doing
currently an infestation of vampire bats being defumigated. So, not normal bats. These are ravenous vampire bats that will maul you to death.
I want to apologize for my voice as well. I sound like I've been throwing up metal hexagons. But we will soldier on. Anyway,
so the headlines this week: brother and sister fighting to make incest legal after having 4 children together. Bong.
Russia deploys trained military dolphins at Black Sea naval base.
Oh Christ, that's a war crime.
Bong.
Drone carrying bag of handguns from United States to Canada intercepted by tree.
And of course, we will be covering the most important story from British politics of Neil Parish being caught watching pornography in the House of Commons.
In his defense, he said he was looking for a tractor website.
I'm sure he was, and I'm sure we'll be able to come up with plenty of jokes later. So, to start us off, who wants to start?
You go ahead. This one takes
All
place
right,
in
then.
Alabama, does it?
Nope, not even close. So brother and sister have been fighting to make incest legal. A pair of incestuous siblings from Germany are continuing their legal battle to see incest laws revoked. So the pair, as you can imagine, have an unusual history. So here's the article. A pair of siblings who fell in love and had 4 children together are still calling for incest laws to be revoked. Currently banned their disturbing relationship. Patrick Subing was reunited with his younger sister, Susan Kurolski, more than 20 years after he moved into a foster home when he was attacked by their father. So already we've got childhood trauma here.
Yeah. Two of the children here, it says here 2 of them are severely disabled.
That does not surprise me at all.
That's right, yeah. And out of the 4 children, 2 of them are severely disabled. So, I mean,
well, how severe are we talking here? Like,
no, generally when you say severely disabled, that means they can't look after themselves at all. They're probably stuck in a chair and can't talk. That would be that would be how I would define severely disabled.
So, like a failed clone type disabled.
Well, considering their genetics would be pretty much copies of the previous generation, then yeah, they would be failed clones.
I feel like I need to say some few nicer things just for this, for the sake of.
I feel bad for the children.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad for the children too. It's not their fault, but they got to live with the consequences. In 2001, a couple set their sights on changing Germany's laws, with one in place that makes sex between siblings illegal. With the pair even going as far as the Court of Human Rights in 2012. Patrick said, "We do not feel guilty about what's happened between us. I became head of the family and had to protect my sister. She's very sensitive, but we helped each other during this very difficult period, and eventually that relationship became physical. We didn't even know we were doing anything wrong when we started sleeping together. We didn't think about using a condom."
I think that's their biggest problem. They don't think.
Yeah, there's not a lot of thinking going on there.
I mean, not gonna lie, guys, I don't really know what to say about this one. I feel bad for the kids. This is just, I think these people are crossing a boundary that shouldn't be crossed.
It's very. I think they watched they were inspired by Game of Thrones, were they?
Inspired by Game of Thrones, the ancient pharaohs. They were quite. Who else are famous inbreeders from history? Got the Austrian royal family, the Habsburgs. They did an awful lot of inbreeding, and a lot of them ended up messed up. There was a few Habsburgs that ended up with really big pointy chins and stuff, and they couldn't speak properly. And it all ended up in Charles II of Spain, who was very disabled.
There's some states in America have quite strange incest laws, don't they? Like some states allow second cousin marriage, and I think there's a few states that actually allow not first cousin. That's like immediate cousin, isn't it? So it's like I'm trying to remember if it's first or second cousin they allow. But like, does that count as incest still?
Pretty
Well,
damn close
there
to
is.
the genetic tree.
Yeah.
Well, you are right. There's actually a lot of detail to it. Every state in America has its own set of laws for that.
Like their family tree is a circle.
If you get the further
yeah.
south you go, it just gets worse.
Some people are their own cousin.
Sister, double
it's
cousin, brother.
it's pretty much
I've-
illegal. It seems everywhere. They're all defined by different ways and different parts of the family, but generally, what they're doing, brother and sister, would be illegal everywhere.
Yeah, well, just
I-
just for argument's sake, if Mr. Grey was to marry his cousin, right, second cousin, Mr. Red, would you count that as incest? Would you be like,
You share your
I have,
parents.
I have an idea. If you find out you're any sort of cousin, just no, don't do it.
it's just not acceptable?
Fun
Whatsoever.
fact: there is there's a service in Iceland because Iceland's got such a small population. There's a service
Oh.
which can tell people how related they are to someone, just in case they do fall in love with their third cousin by accident. They can actually check out to see if they are really closely related.
Oh, dude, she was so hot, but it turns out our families have intertwined like 500 times in the past 100 years.
Kind of what happens with a small place. Anyway, moving on from this lovely idea. What's the next story?
I feel slightly ill.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
The next story will make you feel better. Just think of Command and Conquer. Do you remember the dolphins with the sonar things on their heads? I remember.
Yeah. So Russia deploys trained military dolphins at the Black Sea naval base. So I think we're one step closer to having dolphins with frickin' laser beams attached to their frickin' heads. Do you remember that bit from Austin Powers?
I believe he used sharks.
Sharks?
Slightly more controllable animal.
It
That's
was
right.
sharks. Yes.
Yeah, it was sharks. Well, arguably dolphins can be more deadly than sharks.
I'm gonna assume their military use in this is the dolphins get attracted towards noise within the water, and they're obviously chipped or tracked in some way to see their activity.
Says here the dolphins were moved there in February around the time a certain country launched an invasion of another certain country. You might have heard of it, I don't know. U.S. Naval Institute examined satellite imagery captured by Maxar to blah 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 blah. Found 2 dolphin pens had been placed by the Russian Navy at the harbor of the major port city. Animals in marine mammal programs are trained to perform tasks such as mine detection, ship and harbor protection, and to find enemy combat divers. Oh, those poor divers.
Yeah, it's because as far as I'm aware, like a dolphin realizes there's something near it in the water, it'll go and see what it is, kind of like a dog.
So it's basically just dolphins with trackers on them then? That's literally all it is?
I think so. So yeah, it's like a sea guard dog.
Yeah.
That kind of
It's
makes
not really
sense.
Yeah, it's not exactly the same as like dolphins with machine guns on them or anything, is it? Which would be really
It's
cool.
nothing cool. Yeah.
Infinitely cooler. But yeah, there you go. I mean, like, I'd be more concerned about coming across a pack of dolphins than a shark in the ocean. I mean, I think it's too, sharks don't actually toy with something just for the sake of toying with it, but dolphins, according to research, dolphins do. Like a pack of dolphins will actually peg on you.
And they'll get rather aggressive and do other things to you.
They get quite, how you put it,
Friendly.
frisky. Andy, yep. We'll leave the rest up to your imagination.
Well, you were talking about like a trained guard dog. Well, you know the way dogs get excited and they hump your leg. Same idea
Yeah.
with a dolphin, I suppose.
Pack of dolphins.
Yeah,
Except they'll hump your asshole.
lovely.
Moving on.
We need a good news story. We need something uplifting.
Oh, Mr. Red.
This isn't really uplifting. It's just really funny. Drone carrying bag of handguns from the United States to Canada intercepted by tree. Police say they found 11 legal guns inside a white shopping bag on the Canadian side of the border. Ontario Provincial Police are trying to figure out what sent a shopping bag full of handguns across the Canada-US border via drone. and who was supposed to receive the illegal package. Police officers were contacted on Friday about a large drone stuck in a tree at the St. Clair River near Port Lambton, a small village on the Canadian side of the river, about 40 kilometers south of Sierra Anton, if I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not.
Maybe.
But yeah,
We have no idea.
could you imagine if you'd done this before, right? And then there's just like this guy that always tags along with you to do to do the drop, and you're like, can I try it this time? And then you just regret letting them have a go.
Yeah. No, I'm not like a drug dealer or nothing, but I reckon that would actually be an amazing way. Like, if you're one of these cutting edge, leading edge drug dealers, that'd be the ideal way to do your business by a drone delivery.
They've tried to use the drones to get drugs into US prisons, but they get shot, they get sniped by the guards now.
The guards have to do like skeet shooting now, practice for drones.
Probably the most fun the guards have had for ages.
I think this used to shoot actual
Moving on.
actors.
I thought gun laws in Canada were actually not that strict.
No, they're definitely a lot stricter than.
Stricter than the country to the south.
They're probably on par with Australia's laws for guns.
Anyway, moving on. Well, as you may recall, last week there was a member of Parliament who was caught watching porn on his mobile device in
Of
Parliament.
course. How could we forget?
Tractor Hub?
And he has now been named as Neil Parish and has told the BBC he is resigning as an MP after admitting he watched pornography twice in Parliament.
Twice.
Yep.
Goodness me, he just couldn't get enough.
Mr. Parish, who represented Trivan and Hilton in Devon since 2010, said it has been a moment of madness. He said that the first time was accidental after looking at a tractor website, but the second time in the House of Commons was deliberate. He was suspended by the Conservative Party on Friday over the allegations. Two female colleagues claimed they had seen him looking at adult content on his phone while sitting near them. In the presence of women too. Jesus, man.
I know. How dare he not look at them instead?
Why?
Never get the wrong end of the stick.
I don't know why you do it in a public area, especially when
I don't know.
when there's like raised seating behind you. It just seems
Raised seating and cameras in the bloody ceiling for TV.
Yeah, it's very silly. It's very, very silly. So he was looking at tractors, was he?
I did. Well, the first time he was looking for tractors. In an exclusive interview, BBC Southwest, Mr. Parr said, the situation was, funnily enough, it was tractors I was looking at. I assume this is the first time. I did get into another website that had a very similar name, and I watched it for a bit, which I shouldn't have done. But my biggest crime, is that on another occasion, I went in a second time. So the first time, he was looking for tractors, and he found another website with a similar name, whatever the hell that could be.
He just wanted to look up some good ploughing videos, you know?
Wanted to see how to plough it properly.
He wanted something capable of deploying a large load.
Dropping the fertilizer on the soil, you know.
I wanted to know how a man plants a seed, you know?
He admitted the second time had been deliberate and that it had happened in the House of Commons while he was sitting, waiting to vote. Mr. Parr said what he did was absolutely, totally wrong, adding, I'll have to live with this for the rest of my life. I made a huge, terrible mistake, and I'm here to tell the world. He said it was a moment of madness, but denied watching the material in a way where he hoped other people would see it, saying he was trying to be discreet. Well, that's how you did in your office,
somebody. I have to live with this for the rest of my life. It's as if he's killed someone. It's not that big a deal, but it's embarrassing.
He will. I mean, like in 20 years' time, he'll meet someone at dinner and say, "Hi, my name's Neil Parish," and the other guy's gonna go, "Hey, aren't you that MP that was looking up tractors in the House of Commons?" And he'll have to have his head in his hands and say, "Yeah, that was me." You know, it is going to be for his.
He'll be known as the porno politician.
Yeah, exactly.
I was
a porno politician.
I was wrong in what I was doing, but the idea that I was there watching it, intimidating women. I mean, I have 12 years in Parliament and probably got one of the best reputations ever, or did have, he said.
It was wrong, but it was so right.
You know, he probably did have a good reputation beforehand, because I've never heard of him, so he must be a good boy most of the time.
He wasn't in the news.
Yeah. I guess that concludes our I guess that concludes it. That's the news.
further and like probe into his actual,
Look up his internet history.
or just or straight up hack his phone. Like, okay, what kind of categories was he interested in?
Don't be
You know what I
silly.
mean? That would have been really telling. That would have been really telling about the guy's character.
I wonder if he was connected to the local Wi-Fi.
Don't be silly, Mr. Black.
Furry porn or something.
No newspaper would ever hack somebody's phone. That's a silly thing to suggest.
Was there not that
Yeah.
case those few years ago? I can't remember.
I think you mean News of the World.
News of the World. Were they the ones that did the nasty with the phones?
News of the World aren't around anymore, are they?
No, they're fucked. They're gone. They're dead.
Anyway, I'd say that's probably the end of the news. If you've been, if anybody listening has been affected by the events discussed in this program, either incest or dolphins, or both, please let us know.
Incestuous dolphins. Wouldn't surprise me.
They probably
Anyway.
have.
See you later.
Bye.